Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today, guys, we're going to be talking Cardano, some interesting developments, updates, and just general information I think you guys should know about in terms of Cardano. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, what's going on there, talk about the price action, whether or not these fantastic things that are happening at the fundamental layer are going to impact on price action. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and you will not miss another video update. If you haven't joined us in Discord, what are you waiting for? Check it out, linked in the description below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and it's the first place we go to tell you about everything that's going on in the crypto space. Let's jump right down into the video here for Cardano. So in a recent blog post, Cardano network is basically slowly and securely becoming a blockchain with the capabilities to host a new DeFi system. Thanks to the biggest upgrades carried out in previous years using hard forks, for example, and stake delegation, they've now entered into the network. Also, native tokens, NFTs, Plutus, Marlowe smart contracts, and so much more has been added to Cardano. So it's worth noting that improvements this year have been rather subtle. However, they deeply affect the core of the network, including interoperability, scalability, and sustainability, all of which define Cardano as a third-generation blockchain. So in February, there was a Valentine update where this basically helps developers to create developers to create software that uses smart contracts and extends the capabilities of Cardano with other blockchains. The upgrade name came from when it was released on the day of St. Valentine's. So that's how it got that one name. And that is actually quite a subtle one. People didn't really know about it, and I think it's an important one. The Valentine update or upgrade adds support for a curve called SECP256K1. Basically, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Binance Coin use this for their public key encryption or cryptography. So the change improves capabilities between Cardano and other leading blockchains, essentially. In particular, people and firms creating decentralized applications on Cardano will have the ability to choose two more types of signatures. So really important that we kind of think that about these things. Now, when it comes to scalability, Cardano mentions that it has, in fact, made significant progress thanks to the Hydra technology, which currently sits on top of Cardano as a layer 2 protocol. Developers have the ability to make their own mini blockchains. In addition, Hydra heads allow for the spreading or speeding up of the processing time for applications, and it also takes this burden away from the main chain, which would be doing the work instead. Hydra's impact doesn't end there. It can go significantly further. The Hydra technology now helps to cut down the cost of transactions. These benefits have led to Input-Output Global working with 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 to build an auction using Hydra technology. This inevitably highlights the power of the technology as well. Going forward, another massive project referred to as the Obsidian systems will introduce payments using Hydra technology. Dynamic P2P also does a lot for the overall sustainability of the network. With peer-to-peer communication, network conductivity can stay decentralized by allowing relay nodes to interact directly with each other. Now, this is something that's quite subtle that not a lot of people will know about unless you're a validator or a runner node on the Cardano ecosystem, but it's quite an important one. The network enhancements or advancements can be credited to the release of Cardano node software, which introduces more automated communication capabilities. These are basically versions 1.35.6 and versions 1.35.7. The process of node selection, selecting other nodes to communicate with during the process of transaction validation or during the process of carrying out many different tasks necessary to keep the Cardano ecosystem active. There's also been automated as a result of the recent updates. So DOS attacks, which are very common, are potentially now even a little bit more difficult to kind of see. So dynamic P2P works to improve network security by making the network more resilient to those DOS attacks. So the network also recorded the addition of another decentralized finance piece or jigsaw, part of the puzzle, which is basically the launch of the 𝗕𝗪 stablecoin. We talk about this quite a bit on the channel at the moment, and since that was introduced to the Cardano network back in January, we saw in just 24 hours after the launch, 27 million ADA backing the 𝗕𝗪 stablecoin, and was made available on exchanges like 𝗕𝗓𝗪, and 𝗕𝗓𝗪. 𝗕𝗪 will open up the door for more DeFi opportunities for the entire Cardano network, as 6 ADA tokens back each 𝗕𝗪 stablecoin, so it is to maintain its stability in terms of price. 𝗕𝗪 will be used for settlement of payments and covering the network fees in the future. So there's a lot of stuff going on when it comes to Cardano, and a lot of stuff that maybe people just are not that familiar with, because these are minor, subtle updates that are happening in the background. You know, we talk a little bit around Hydra. We saw that go on the mainnet recently, and obviously that's kind of well known for 1 million transactions per second, and you know, essentially that 1 million transactions per second is just like this theoretical number that people like to kind of throw out there, but it does so much more than just that. The 𝗕𝗪 stablecoin is going to welcome so many more dApps to the ecosystem, specifically around DeFi, and the DeFi opportunities on the Cardano ecosystem is going to be absolutely fantastic in my opinion, and we're going to see that get built out quite massively in the future. So what about price action, right? So it's great to have all these really great kind of things going on in the background. Some of them you may know about, some of them you might not know about, but does that actually have an impact on price? And the question can be answered very simply by saying yes, it does, but it's actually a little bit more complicated and more complex than just that. We have to consider what those updates are and what is going to create the imbalance between the supply and the demand that creates the price appreciation that everyone seems to be seeking and looking for. So we first of all have to break down what is it that we're looking for in terms of the price action of ADA. And obviously a lot of people are looking for price appreciation. They want price to be going up. So in order for price to be going up, we have to see a few things happen. We have to see an increase in demand for ADA, and we have to see a decrease in the supply of ADA. Okay, these two are pretty much the only things you really need to focus in on. Everything else is just kind of second nature or secondary to these two primary. Okay, and what I mean by this is that if you have an imbalance in your supply and the demand, you're going to see price react to that. Okay, if there's too much supply and not enough demand, prices go down. And if there is too much demand and not enough supply, price will go up. Price is just reacting to the imbalance between the supply and the demand. Okay, so these are fundamental basics. Once we understand these, we can actually then start to take a look at these fundamental things that are happening on chain and being built by IOG and various different companies around the world. We can then say, okay, well, what does that do to the supply-demand metrics? Okay, so take 𝗕𝗪, take DeFi. This is going to create a fantastic opportunity for price appreciation, in my opinion, because this is going to create an imbalance in those supply and the demand. And what this really comes down to is total value locked. We already see that a lot of ADA is backing 𝗕𝗪. And now as 𝗕𝗪 gets more popular, more ADA is going to have to be used to back 𝗕𝗪, right? And so as a result of that, you're going to see the supply shrink. The supply will be going down. It will be going and getting contracted, and there'll be less supply out there for purchases. Okay. And at the same time, once you have 𝗕𝗪 moving on quite nicely, you'll see dApps also being launched, right? DeFi specifically, as I said, you're going to need to get those pools, liquidity pooling and all that kind of stuff going on. But you'll see that not only will you need ADA for 𝗕𝗪 to stabilize the price action of 𝗕𝗪, but you're also going to see people wanting to use DeFi applications, and they might have total value locked up in ADA as well. So you'll tend to find that people will want ADA in order to be able to transact and use the DeFi application. So there's your demand increasing, at the same time as wanting to use ADA or looking to acquire ADA for those dApps and for those play to earn games or whatever it is on Cardano. You'll also see a shrinkage of the supply as that demand comes in and takes that away. So you kind of got multiple different attacks on the supply side, and all you really need is to see a few projects launching on the Cardano ecosystem to increase that demand. So all in all, I think we've got a recipe for success. The only question becomes, how long is that going to take to play out? And that one I simply cannot answer. It really comes down to how long it takes to develop games and how long it takes to develop DeFi on the Cardano ecosystem. What I can do, though, is take a look at the price action, and given the fact that people are reacting to price movement or reacting to news, we can see patterns within data. And when you have these patterns within the data, or specifically the charts, we can get predictive over where things could potentially be going. So at the moment, it does look like we still have a little bit more room to fall down a little bit deeper here. So it does look like there's going to be more ADA available for purchase, but a little bit lower. It looks like this range down here is actually the range that we'll be looking for in terms of price action coming down. So we're talking about 31 cent to about 35 cent. Anywhere in here seems to be a pretty good area, in my opinion, for like dollar cost averaging and that kind of stuff. Now, if I bring up our other chart here, you can see I did scope this out a little bit deeper. It's more specifically 32.54 to 34.16 at the moment. It's a 5-wave pattern taking us down into a zigzag. So essentially it is the final movement, a C wave. So we have 5 coming down, 3 going up, 5 coming down. This is a typical zigzag pattern of 535. And as long as we don't go down deeper than 29.76, we should remain within the zigzag pattern. And we don't have to worry about impulsions or going an impulsive 5-wave or anything like that. So for the most part, it looks like 32.54 to 34.16 is the area of focus for accumulation, and then we'll be looking at a move to the upside after that, at least in my opinion. Now, how high can we go? Well, we have got an area scoped out a little ways up here, more towards the 52 cent. Maybe we'll pierce that level, maybe we won't. We'll have to see how the structures form out after that. So we are looking for price appreciation a little bit higher, but we do have to come down first. Okay, so we come down to go up essentially. Now we take a look at this. We can see we'd have an A wave here, a B wave coming down here, and then a C wave coming up towards that 52 cent range. Okay, and so following the patterns of behavior of people who are transacting, because that's essentially what Elliott wave theory does. It just tracks the behavior of the herd. So as they have been behaving, this is the most probable outcome. Okay, now based on that, we can also see that in the background we have smart money concepts rolling. Smart money concepts also kind of tells us that we are in a bullish structure. We had a change of character going from bearish to bullish. Okay, we've pulled back down. This is okay, and as we go to pierce up higher than 42 cent, I imagine that we're also going to see a break of structure confirming our bullish sentiment to the upside. Now we have a weak high and a strong low. This is also an indication of that change of character. It tells us that we are likely to go up higher than our swing high at the moment, but not likely to go down lower than our swing low at the moment. Okay, so all in all, everything on this daily chart for Cardano seems to be gearing up for a small move down and then a much larger move to the upside. So I would say, yeah, there's some interesting things going on the fundamental side. We see Hydra scaling. We see a lot of fantastic subtle changes going on with P2P and all these kind of things going on with node communicating, automation, and all this fantastic stuff. And I think the 𝗕𝗪 stablecoin being launched is going to be a game changer long term as we see more DeFi come to Cardano, more total value locked, more imbalances created between the supply and the demand. And as we see this, I think we're going to see massive price appreciation in the future. But I don't think it's going to be quick. I think this is going to be a slightly longer played game, something that's probably going to take a couple of years or so, and I do think that's going to be a fantastic opportunity for further down the line. But let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. Do you think Cardano has a bright future like I do, or are you believing all the FUD that you hear out there, and essentially that Cardano maybe is a ghost chain, has nothing built on it, and all that absolute garbage? Let me know in your thoughts down in the comments below. Really interested to kind of get your thoughts and opinions on that one. It's always kind of kicks up a bit of a conversation with people saying various different things. I find it quite interesting. It always keeps me entertained down in the comment section anyway. If you found this useful, smash the like button. I appreciate that. If you're new, subscribe. And of course, if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, guys, what you're waiting for, check it out. Linked in the description below. Until the next one, though, guys, have a fantastic day. We are not financial advisors. None of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.